Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. So, today's tip is it's okay to change your mind. So, if you've been following me since the beginning, you knew that I was like wanting to turn my whole yard into a garden. And I only live on a sixth of an acre. My total space would have been like 20 or 25 by 50, I think, was my total garden space. But my seed starting didn't go so great. Struggling with it. I've got a lot of stuff. I do have buckets that I've collected from Jules, so I still will do those. But I was like, this is going to work. No matter what, I'm going to make it work. And I I checked it. It would have been after digging out and um, doing the 3 raised beds, digging out my yard, having to replace the topsoil. It would have been $1,000 just to get the soil. And that's just not frugal. And originally I was like, I'm going to do this. But then I thought about it. I'm like, I I feel like I would be spending a lot more, so maybe it would be better to do it gradually. So I still have the seeds. I'm still gonna I'm gonna kind of back off on what I'm planting and how I'm planting. I'm still gonna plant a lot of my heirlooms, like my scarrot and such, because it's a really interesting root vegetable. I'll plant zucchini because I really do. I think maybe zucchini bread might be a good thing for me. Um, I really like banana bread, so maybe zucchini bread will help me sneak some veggies into my diet. We'll see. Um, but kind of try and add some to that. I still do want to grow some of my own food, but I'm gonna, instead of trying to do everything so much, especially working like 6 to 7 days a week, because I'm trying to pull off my harebrained scheme. That's what I'm just gonna call it until I announce it, because if I don't make it, I'm gonna be so disappointed. But the other good thing is that I have paid down, just paid again today, $1,800 in credit card debt so far this month, in the past like 2 to 2.5 weeks. I really don't buy much. I pretty much just pay bills and save money normally, but for those of you who don't know, the reason I have credit card debt is I was phenomenally sick for an entire year. I was unemployed, and so I ended up with about $6,000 to $8,000 worth of credit card debt. I can't even remember now. I'd have to look, but I use my credit cards to buy groceries and get gas and basically eke by for a year because I was so sick and I couldn't work. So that's the story of how I ended up with credit card debt. But it took a year of being sick, and now I'm at the 11-month mark of working towards being healthy. I do have to be careful because I'm working a lot. I could easily get burned out. I don't want to crash and burn, but I think I may just pull it off. So I'm just like saving, watching it all grow, watching debt go down, kind of a thing. So goal number 1 is pay off credit card number 1. Goal number 2 is pay credit card number 2 off. Goal number 3 is save lots and lots of money. I don't even remember what the tip I started on now is. It's okay to change your mind. But if I had just locked in and forced myself to do the garden, and I mean, it may have turned out great, but that would have been $1,000 just in soil. So instead, I've decided that instead of taking on yet another project, I have tons of wood. I'm going to finish all of my projects. And then by November, I want all of my projects done. And I'm either going to complete the project or get rid of it, or it's going to go into one of my like top 3 projects to keep. Because I do recognize some projects will just take longer by their very nature. Then I'm going to get rid of what I don't use. So, obviously I'll keep things like stain, but, it's just, it's okay to change your mind. And, if you can change your mind before you spend the money, that's really great. But frequently we start down a path and we think this is the path, and you start to invest money into it, and then like there's an actual name for it. So you start to invest money and you just like, you're throwing good money after bad. It's kind of like the guy who, I remember my dad used to tell me this joke. Did you hear about the guy who threw the $50 bill in the porta potty? He dropped a 5 in and it just wasn't worth going in after, so he threw the 50 to make it worth it. And then he still jumped into a porta potty. Like, oh God. And I feel like a lot of things like are like that. Like, you start on a path and you start spending money towards that path, and then you feel like locked in to it. And even though you've changed your mind and your heart's not in it, instead of saying, what can I recoup from this? So let's say you spend $500 on your project that you're doing, and you're $500 in and you really hate it and you're miserable and you want to do something different. Now you can spend another $1,000, be miserable, and be miserable for even longer, and then you're out $1,500. Or you can stop where you're at, having spent the $500, perhaps sell some of the stuff you had, so like maybe you can recoup 250 of it, and then you're only out 250 instead of 1,500. So like, it's okay to change your mind and everything, even mid go, because it's kind of like the guy in the porta potty. I mean, don't throw the 50 in after the 5. Sometimes you have to just cut your losses. And that doesn't mean like give up on your dreams or just like quit in the middle. It's specifically about like changing your mind or things changing, because sometimes you have to learn to like go with the flow and roll with the punches and everything. Be a duck, let it roll off your back or whatever. God, the number of little sayings that I've heard since I was young. But instead of continuing to spend money down the path and the path you don't want to be on, stop, change your mind, accept that you have losses, deal with it, try and mitigate the loss, but quit spending money on what you don't want, and start thinking of a new path. So now for me, I have all these buckets, and I will show you. I'm going to make self-watering planters, and I'm going to do a lot of growing in buckets. I got all the buckets for free from my grocery store. A really nice baker up near one of the stores I work at has been saving them for me, so that was super sweet. Oh, I forgot to stop in and get them today. I'll stop in tomorrow. But they're so nice, and so now I have a bunch of 3-gallon buckets and 5-gallon buckets, and some with lids. So like the lids are really cool, because even though I don't have a lid for every bucket, because they're going to be I'll explain it to you when I get to that video. But instead of going and buying, and I mean, I'm going to be spending a lot on potting soil. I'm probably going to end up spending a couple $100 on potting soil, but that's a lot less than 1,000. And I'll again be able to reuse it. And I will probably eventually make some raised beds, but I'm going to do it gradually instead of just all at once, because that gives me more options to change my mind. And that way I'm not super stressed about it. And you can change your mind with your project as well. So, yes, I'm going to grow a garden. No, it's not going to be a food forest like I was hoping. I am going to, finish all my projects, because at some point I just decided that I want to focus on something different. I really do love making videos. And so I want to do that more as well. And yeah, so I will have a garden. It will not be my entire yard like originally planned. And then I'll use that money towards something else. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.